What you are listening to now is the Central Indiana Sports Report podcast number 353.3, the football report with Tipton head coach Aaron Tolle. With the football season underway just a week from today, we sat down with Coach Tolle to talk about his Blue Devils. Coming next week, we will have our first full week of high school football coverage, including our previews and predictions on Thursday, our scoreboard show on Friday night, and then we'll talk to some coaches about what happened on Saturday. Please tune in all 3 days next week and enjoy this podcast.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengel.
Coach, what are you expecting to see from your team tomorrow night, but to the listeners tonight?
Honestly, we're really excited about this year's team. I feel like this is year 21 for me. We might have had the best summer we've ever had, to be honest. We did a lot of things. We were more active. We scrimmaged Tri-Central in June. We went to Eastbrook and scrimmaged 4 3A and 4A schools in July. We went to team camp the next week in July, scrimmaged 3A, 4A schools. So when we started camp, we felt like we were almost a month ahead of where we have been. But we haven't gone. We've played 11 on 11. We've played 7 on 7. We've played third scrimmage, but we haven't played true football. So I'm really excited to see how far ahead we are. I think we've got some really good players. We've got a nice mix of experience back. I think we have 13 or 14 starters back off of last year's team, but we're also bringing in some new sophomores. We'll start some sophomores tomorrow night. It's kind of their first starting experience, so that can be an adventure sometimes. But I think the expectations of our team this year are very, very high, and
highest in a while.
Yes, I would say so. As high or higher than the last number of years. So I'm excited to see us play, to be honest.
Real quick, we'll go back to the team for a minute, but I'm afraid I will forget this question. With the way the schedule was, out of 9 games, you only get 3 at home. Thoughts on that? Will that change in the future? Or
it will change in the future. It was a matter of week 1, our contract with South Adams ran out. South Adams signed a contract with Sheridan. There was a connection there with Coach Wright. So we were kind of stuck, and it's not easy to find games. So we were kind of faced with a 50-50 chance we can keep sticking around or hanging around and trying to find a home game, and run the risk of, well, we didn't get a home game, so now we're traveling 2 hours to get any game. Or Frankton popped up and we said, or we can take the plunge this year, travel 30 minutes, get a local team, and play on the road this one year. We thought that was a safer bet. So that's why we did that, and next year it should be all evened out after this year. So
I know Brent Brobson was happy to have that you were back on Frankton's schedule, at least for this year.
Yeah, it's a local team. It's a CIC team. Not right now. They're 3A, we're 2A, but we play them in baseball. We play them in basketball. We had a great basketball sectional over there this year. One of the best sectionals I've been to in a long time. So it's more of a natural rivalry a little bit, and it's a lot better than getting on a bus and going to play somebody that you don't know anything about. You don't even know where the school is. And
Rensselaer, of course, is this going to be the last year you play them since they're leaving the conference at the end? And how well does that, if that happens, and what does that look for your future?
Probably will be the last year we play Rensselaer, and I believe the plan at this point, unless something else changes, which in the Hoosier Conference, who knows right now? It's a wild, wild west, but I believe we will be going to where we will play everybody in the conference. So that means we would pick up West Lafayette. It means we'd pick up Logansport. We would play any and all teams in the conference. Everybody would do that. So it'd be that format.
Who replaced Heritage this year? Because I don't have the schedule.
We play Heritage again this year.
You do play me.
We go there.
Okay.
That's one of our 3 hour-and-a-half bus trips.
Okay.
So we go 2 Benton Central, 2 Rensselaer, 2 Heritage.
Well, that's right. I did remember looking at the schedule. I thought, because that's what I thought. I thought not only do they play 6 of their 9 games on the road, a third of those are at
we should
our
be
long
well
trips.
Prepared for a tournament run. There's no doubt about it. We just have to be tough-minded. That's what football is. Be tough-minded and overcome obstacles. And if an hour and a half bus ride is going to prevent us from playing well, then we're not very good anyway. So.
Overall, how do you see your schedule overall as far as getting you prepared for the sectional?
Well, I think every year we've got to the point where who's smaller on our schedule, school-wise than we are. I don't know that anybody is. Frankton's now bigger than us. Elwood might be smaller than us. But we're the smallest team in the Hoosier Conference outside of LCC, and they don't count. They don't count because
they win at everything.
Well, they win at everything because their kids go to school there for a reason. We have 440 kids here. How many of those kids play sports? Not 440. You go to Lafayette Central Catholic. They may only have 250, but they all do something. There's no dead weight.
They're all going there expecting excellence.
There's a reason they're going there. That's right. So they have a roster of 60 every year, and they will this year too. So we're the smallest team in our conference. It's an uphill battle, but again, if we can stay healthy during the year and battle with teams that are bigger than us, then that should really prepare us for the sectional when we are playing schools our size.
But you said you have 13 starters back. Who are?
Real fast. It was not the only thing new on your schedule. Is there anything different on your schedule?
Frankton is the only new team.
Yeah. Okay.
Frankton is the only new team.
And the unbalanced home away was the.
Yeah.
All right. So let me just ask that real fast. So before we move on, the other new addition was Frankton. You talked a little bit about that, but really nice to get something close to home.
Yes.
A program similar to yours over the years, I'd say. That has to be a nice addition to the schedule.
Well, it's great. And number one, I've coached against Marty Wells for years and years and years.
He coached against you when you were playing.
Yes, and so he's a good friend of mine, and I have the utmost respect for him, and know most, if not all, of their staff. That makes it fun, especially in today's society. We as coaches don't see opposing coaches all that often. Used to, you'd go on a Saturday and you'd drive and I'd meet Marty at Hobbs Rest Park and we'd stand out there and exchange VHS tapes and talk for an hour. Now he sends me an email on Huddle and we're done. And I see him 15 minutes before the game. So it is nice to interact and coach against people that you know and that you like and that you respect. So from that aspect, it's great to have him on the roster. And like I said, it's kind of a backyard rivalry getting to that point, and it's a lot better than driving somewhere where you don't know anybody. So,
I was going to ask about returning starters, but before I do that, I'm going to ask, because you had some key losses from, as far as graduation from last year's team, and Calvin Condit and Cole Hussey and Dallas Capshaw. Who are some of those guys you're looking to replace that?
Well, you mentioned them. The three guys you just mentioned were the three leading tacklers on our defense. Now, I think our defense was our mainstay last year. I think for the season we gave up 11 or 12 points a game for 12 games, which is pretty darn good. And a big part of that was those three guys you just mentioned. Cole Hussey was a 4-year starter, 3-year all-conference. Calvin Condit was a 3-year starter, 2-time all-conference. Dallas was a 2-year starter. He was an all-conference player. So especially defensively, that's a big question for me, not starting tomorrow, but on through the early in the season. We've got to find guys that can replace. I don't know that you replace a 4-year returning starter, but through numbers, somehow, some way, we've got to try to fill those roles. So Chase Hussey is going to be our inside linebacker. That's Cole's brother. He's been a 3-year starter for us, so he brings a lot of experience to the position. Brady Henderson played quite a bit last year when Chase was banged up, so he's got half a year of experience. Slade Springer is a returning starter at outside linebacker, so we've got some experience there. We've got to find another outside linebacker in between. Zane Durham, who's a sophomore, Zach Ridgway, that's a senior. Jaron Aller is kind of playing both inside and outside, another another sophomore, we're going to try to fill those roles. So that's a question mark. Replacing 2 all-conference linebackers is never easy to do. Secondary-wise, Dallas graduates. Oliver Conaway graduates from corner. So we've got to replace those 2. I feel like we've got some really good athletes back there. Isaiah Mahaney returns at corner. We're looking at Quinn Tolle and Dakota Garmon at safety. And then Joe Klauser and Zach Emberton at corner. So that kind of gives us three that we consider above the line at both positions in the secondary.
Of course, Joe got some experience because of Oliver being missing some time.
Joe played quite a bit last year also. So, yes, there's some experience there.
Defensive line, you return a lot. And
we returned all 3 starters and the next 2 guys, and we've added a guy. So defensive line should definitely be a strong point. Starts with, I think, Joe Vaughtal led our team in sacks last year as a freshman.
He was very impressive, especially late in the year.
Yes, he's gonna be a pain. He plays with a fire. He's got a motor and he can play for 4 quarters, and we're not having to play him on offense right now, so that's even better for us. But between him, Grayson Witherow, who's a senior, played a bunch of defensive line for us last year. Nathan Hawkins, who was an all-conference football player for us. He started on the defensive line last year. We still have Jack Roach, who's our biggest lineman. We have Ethan Klauser, who's an up-and-coming sophomore that's shown a lot of promise. We've got a move-in Mason Tice from Iowa, who's 6'4", 250 pounds. So we've got a freshman.
Nice.
Yeah, we've got a freshman that I think is going to be on our radar by mid-season. He's also about 230, 240 pounds. So there's 6 or 7 kids that we can rotate in there. That
do you want to give us his name?
The freshman is Brendan Reese.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's had a nice camp and is coming along nicely.
But do you have a quarterback?
We do have a returning starter at quarterback this year.
Who's that?
Quinn Tolle. And honestly, you kind of forget how far ahead you are offensively when the quarterback is returning with some experience. It just puts you light years ahead of where you are if there's a quarterback competition or if you're having to replace a 2 or 3 year starter. It just makes things so much easier.
And Quinn is really the first, what I call, true quarterback returning starter that you've had since what, Sam Edwards?
I mean, that's where things start, and I think he's doing a really good job of, it's not easy to step into the huddle as a sophomore and demand respect, but I think over the last 9 games last year, I think he earned that respect from his teammates, and so it's just as much his huddle as it is anybody else's, and I think they're willing to pass the reins on to him because he's proven that he can do it on Friday nights. So it all starts there. You know how our offense is. We want to be extremely balanced. We want to spread the ball out, and I think with him behind center, I think that gives us a really good run-pass option, depending on what the defense gives us.
And I know, running back, you're going to return Slade Springer. Chase Hussey, is he going to still play some running back? And then you got a sophomore that's probably going to be pretty good too, and Zane Durham?
We've got the last couple years, anytime you're playing Tipton, 87, Calvin Connett's getting it 20, 22 times a game. I don't think we have that this year. We don't need that this year because I don't know that we have a Calvin Condit. Now, what we do have is I think we have a stable of running backs that we have not had for a long time, which means we have 3 or actually 4 deep. We have 2 seniors and 2 sophomores that I envision all getting carries on Friday night.
A lot of fresh legs against tired defenses.
Especially when some of them are playing both ways. That really helps.
Yes. So we're going to take those 20, 22 carries, split them up 3-4 ways. The quarterback can carry it occasionally also. So there's 5 ball carriers. We always kind of do that in the preseason as we sit down and go, okay, we're going to get 60 plays. How many times do we want to throw? How many times do we want to run? All right, if we want to run it, throw it 20 and run it 40, how are we mixing those 40 carries up? Well, when you're splitting them up amongst 4 or 5 guys, you're not killing somebody. So I think we've got a great stable of running backs, starting with our 2 seniors, Slade Springer, who was probably our number 2 last year, Chase Hussey. He's a really good running back. He's probably our best blocker out of the backfield. He'll play some H-back. What I realized about Chase last year was when he was injured, how versatile he is. He can play tailback, he can play fullback, he can play tight end, he can play inside backer, he can play outside backer. And when you lose a guy like that, you got to reach quite a bit. So those are our two seniors, and we've got two up-and-comers that I think are going to impress a lot of people. And Zane Durham has had an awesome offseason. He's up to 185 pounds. And then Caden Cook is another sophomore that we're really, really high on. So amongst those four, that's probably our stable of running backs.
Okay, I guess now the big question is, who's Quinn going to be throwing to on Friday nights?
Okay, we feel like we're pretty strong out there too. We played Jaron Aller as a sophomore. He can either play tight end or we can split him out. He's had an unbelievable offseason. He's lost some weight. I think he's 200 pounds now and has probably gained 2 steps. He's always had great hands, but now we feel like he can get himself open. I think he's one of the most improved players on our team, in my opinion. We've got Dakota Garmon, who's had, to me, kind of a breakout season. We haven't had that. We've had good receivers. We haven't had that all-state type receiver that goes, give me the ball. I'm going to be open. Get me the ball. And when we went to Ball State this summer, I kind of saw that attitude in him. So I think he can be that go-to guy. Zach Ridgway is going to play out there. He's 6'5". And then we've got Isaiah Mahaney that's the fastest guy on the team. So, we've kind of talked. We think this has the makings of the best receiving core we've had maybe since our last sectional championship team in 2020.
Right, and the versatility, especially if you're with the way of Chase Hussey and even Isaiah Mahaney, they just give you a little bit of things if you want to get a little tricky in play callings or sets or whatever. You create a matchup problem.
Yes, we're going to try to get the ball in Isaiah's hands because we don't play very many people that'll catch him. So we want to get him the ball out in green grass. He's been injured a little bit for the last couple years. He's as healthy as he's been. Again, I think we've had really high expectations for him for a long time, and I think this is as healthy as he's been, and his attitude has been awesome. I think he could be another one that has a breakout season.
Of course, we talked about Cole Hussey, what he did on defense. He was your center last year, and center is really, especially with the way you guys, the offense that you run, center is a huge position. So who is going to be your center this year?
We've moved Grayson Witherow. He started at right tackle for us last year. We've moved him to center. No offense to Cole, we haven't missed a beat. That is a credit to Grayson. He has a year of experience. He's extremely smart. I mean, he can make all the line calls right now. That's been a great move for us, and he's doing an outstanding job. And he is, between him and Jack Roach, those are our two senior leaders up front.
I was going to say, how nice is it to have a Jack Roach be left tackle and protect his?
He's a fourth-year starting, so he knows the offense as well as I do, and you never have to. He can be in the huddle teaching the other linemen. So we've got between him and Grayson and Nathan Hawkins.
I was going to say, is Nathan lining up again on the left?
Nathan is at right guard right now.
Okay.
Nathan and Jack were both all-conference last year. Grayson is a returning starter. So you take those three guys with a ton of experience. You get a move in Mason Tice that's 6'4", 250 pounds. We've got him penciled in at right tackle right now. So there's been a pretty sharp learning curve. He is a great kid, and he is very, very smart. He's as smart as anybody on our football team, so he's a sponge. He picks things up quick. And we did find out the other night he does have a little bit of a switch. So coaches like that sometimes too. So we've snuck him in there, and then maybe one of the, we needed this to happen, but maybe one of the surprises of camp is Nathan Hawkins' little brother, and Andrew, another who's a sophomore. He was on our radar, but I kind of had him penciled in as the backup center. He played center on the JV team last year. And we got into a pinch at team camp, and this is a true story. Nathan and Andrew don't talk all that much, like ever. So we had an injury or somebody go down, so we sneak Andrew into our lineup at team camp, and I was talking with Jack, and I said, "Hey, Andrew did a pretty good job tonight." He goes, "I didn't even know it wasn't Nathan until we were about 2/3 of the way through. Neither one of them talked, and he did a really good job." So, we kind of found something at team camp, and Andrew's done a great job, and he's in that starting role right now. I've got him. I got the inexperienced sophomore wedged in between two experienced seniors. He's left-handed, so we're playing him at left guard. That's why we've moved Nathan to right guard. So that gives our new right tackle somebody, an all-conference guy, right next to him. So we think that we think that's probably the best lineup for us, and we think we might have as good an offensive line as we've had in a minute. So at least that's the hope.
So what I'm hearing is 15-0.
Didn't say that. We play a darn good schedule, but I think expectations are high for sure. Our team attitude has that's probably what has me feeling so good as much as anything is our team attitude has been awesome, as good as it's been in a long time. Like this team camp was a new thing that we have done. I was worried, how are we going to do this? We're going to go to Anderson. We're going to stay for 3 days. It's $250 a kid. We've got kids on our roster that can't afford to do that. The booster club can't afford to send an entire football team over there. So we did a fundraiser, a 1-week fundraiser, and our kids made $12,000.
Is that what Quinn sent me
Yes.
the email?
Yes.
I got on right away because I didn't know when it was coming in.
So our kids went to team camp, and on our roster of 38, I guess it's now 39, but 38 at the time, I believe 34 of them went, and we didn't pay a dime. Our entire football team went over there. They bought their own pizza. That's what they bought. Other than that, their camp was paid for, and it kind of started with that. And we took 33 or 34 out of 38 over there for 3 days. They made that sacrifice. We did a canoe trip this summer. I think 33 or 34 out of 38 were there. So, and I told them the other day, just on Saturday, I think we went through the first week of practice, and everybody on the team was accounted for. There was not one time I had to send a manager in and go, "Where's this kid? Why is he not here? Why is he late? This kid quit." They were 38 out of 38 for the entire first week. I don't think that's ever happened. So
wow. Everybody on their physicals on time and everything.
They did,
That's
yeah. So it was, I think we're hitting the ground running. So, yeah, I'm excited to see us play for real.
And you return your kicker. Or
Return our kicker, for
Rogan
sure.
Ferg is, and Hawkins is back to punt.
Hawkins at punt he's returning a punter.
I'm hearing 15-0.
So we had to find it. We're looking for a new long snapper.
That was going to be my next question, because that's people don't realize how big a key
No.
role that long snapper is, and it's why
And the holder.
and it's why
And the
guys
holder.
can have long
And Oliver
careers.
Conaway was a really good holder. So we're trying some guys out there, and it's coming along. Our goal was always to hit 90% of our extra points. I think Dakota, he went to, not Dakota, but Ferg went to kicking camp, and he really kicked well. Brogan Ferg, sorry I said Dakota, but he went to kicking camp. He really kicked the last half of the year. He was really, really solid. He went to kicking camp this summer, so I think he could be a strength. I think from 35 yards in, he could be, I think that would be a viable option. I think he would feel comfortable kicking it that far. So we've got some things rolling.
Any changes on your coaching staff?
Well, Brett Stoker retired, semi-retired. He comes when he wants to come. He will still be a part. He's not at practice every day, but he'll be here on Sundays at coaches' meetings, probably on the press box on Fridays during ball games. He likes the game planning part. He likes the camaraderie part. I guess 40 years will earn you be here when you want to be here. So he's still going to be around. He's still going to be a part. But outside of that, we're bringing everybody back. So we've got a lot of continuity there. My offensive and defensive coordinator, Josh, has been under, I guess, we've considered him the defensive coordinator or co-defensive coordinator for a couple of years now. Brett's done a wonderful job of teaching him the ropes and trying to hand it over to him a little bit at a time. Dustin's been calling plays for 7 or 8 years now. So my dad always said the reason he won 200 games was because he had 4 assistants, the same 4 assistants that were in the building for 20 straight years. He said that's irreplaceable. He would tell you that today.
I know. He always told me, your dad always said that, and he always said that a great head coach is only as good or great as the guys on his staff.
Yep.
He said you can't
be
a great coach if you don't have a good staff.
No, it's a very, very true statement, and I don't know that you realize that until you're actually that guy and you realize how much you count on those guys. But I've got a great staff and very, very loyal. Put in a lot of time, make a lot of sacrifices in the off season so that we can be successful in the season.
Thanks, Coach.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you so much to Coach Tolle for joining us and to Michelle for helping out. She is the best. And thank you for listening. Please do us a huge favor and share this podcast with a Central Indiana sports fan and help us spread the word that the Central Indiana Sports Report is here talking about Central Indiana sports every single day. Central Indiana Sports Report is brought to you by TG Media and I Love Susan.